Alrighty, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Matthew. In case you didn't know, I'm a senior partner development associate here at ShipBob. I'm excited to introduce Sarah Fishbaum, product marketing lead at Yottaa, for her session 2024 Cyber 5 Analytics and Predictions for next year. Feel free to ask questions for Sarah. We're giving away a $50 Bombas gift card. We're looking for engagement. We're looking for questions. Sarah, feel free to take it away.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Matt. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening from wherever you're joining from today. I really appreciate you taking some time today. Today, I'm going to dive into some of the key trends and insights from Cyber 5 this year that we saw, and really how those trends are going to help to set the stage for even bigger opportunities into next year. So quick intro. My name is Sarah Fishbaugh. I'm the product marketing lead here at Yottaa, as Matt mentioned. Yottaa is a platform that optimizes and monitors e-commerce sites to balance speed and functionality, really ensuring smooth customer experiences. Our data at Yottaa shows that if a site takes more than 3 seconds to load, 58% of visitors are most likely to bounce from your site. And so we help brands and retailers prioritize essential content loading to reduce delays and maximize their ROI so that shoppers get fast, engaging experiences and our customers don't ever have to compromise on the features that they've included onto their site. So if you're like most e-commerce leaders, Cyber 5 is your Super Bowl, right? And every single second counts during this time. You know, it's the most important time of the year, but it's also presenting some big challenges. And this year we saw some good wins, some hurdles, but most importantly, tons of opportunities where we can really help you inform how you plan for 2025. So to kick things off, let's talk about some trends that we saw that stood out the most. Mobile traffic. Now, this shouldn't be any surprise to you that mobile traffic is an important device from a traffic perspective, but it grew 8% from last year, Cyber 5, and it's continuing to dominate e-commerce. But there's also a twist here. We're seeing that shoppers aren't entering through your homepage as often as more. They're more discovering your brand through product pages, from blog posts and affiliate links and other different destinations. So it's kind of the Wild West from an entry point perspective. And as brands, we really have to meet shoppers where they are. So with that, how do we adapt to really keep them engaged? So we'll dive in here. So like I said, we're going to start with mobile. Traffic from mobile was up 8% year over year. Mobile first shopping is no longer a trend. It's really the standard. But with that comes higher expectations for speed and seamless functionality. Shoppers are really coming to expect instant app-like loading even when they're in the browser. But what's really interesting is that shoppers aren't following the typical traditional journeys anymore. They're skipping the homepage sometimes, and they're going to land on product detail pages or blog posts or category pages, you name it. And what's driving this change? Well, shoppers are beginning to use more diverse channels like Instagram and TikTok and affiliate links to discover products. So it's no longer about just guiding them to your homepage. The homepage is still important, but it's all about being ready for them wherever they land. So this is really creating some new challenges. We typically see that the usual landing pages are typically optimized for speed. So home pages and specific campaign landing pages are usually already pretty fast. But the challenge is that other landing pages haven't been fully optimized. So think about this. You have an influencer that posts a reel about your product and they share their specific affiliate link. A shopper clicks on that link, lands directly on that PDP, and then decides to explore your website. But the challenge is if that PDP or the subsequent PDPs aren't optimized for speed and functionality, you've likely lost that sale before that shopper really even gets fully started on your page. They're just as likely to bounce from that page as if they had landed on your homepage and it wasn't fast and responsive. Not to mention that, but then that influencer also might be getting feedback from their followers saying, hey, there's a really bad shopping experience on this page. And it results in that influencer being less likely to promote you in the future. So the challenge is really clear here. Every single page needs to perform. It's not just your homepage. Every page has to be optimized for speed. And this shift in shopper behavior really means that every page of your site, even the less optimized ones, need to load quickly because shoppers really aren't going to wait. And then here's another piece of data that might surprise you. So like I said, mobile traffic dominated e-commerce during Cyber 5, but desktop still had higher conversion rates. We were seeing about 5.4% on desktop versus about 3.3 on mobile. And this may be in part due to desktop screens making it easier to compare products, to enter payment information, and just navigating checkout. It's a whole lot easier with that larger screen. But even so, mobile is where most of that traffic initially happens. So brands really need to close the gap between the two. We need to make sure that moving from mobile to desktop feels like a seamless and consistent experience. And so when mobile sites perform well, but then if there's a noticeable increase in load time on desktop, a shopper might get frustrated and just abandon the journey altogether. Or there might be a slight lag in checkout on mobile, which can cause just frustration and simply lead to drop-offs from then and there. So when brands really invest in not only making sure that both mobile and desktop are seamless and fully optimized, and they're beginning to invest in features like one-click checkout or payment integrations like Apple Pay, and then they optimize how all those integrations load, they're going to see a really noticeable lift in their conversions. So let's talk about really what sets apart high-performing sites from other sites, and that's speed. Shoppers are getting more and more impatient year over year. This year, high-performing sites were 12% faster than last year, and they were actually 21% faster than the year before in 2022. That's not just progress in sites and infrastructure. That's essential, and it's a focus from a ton of different brands. This is really where milliseconds make millions. A 1-second delay doesn't just frustrate your shoppers. When shoppers see a site lag, it might cause them to pause and wonder, is this site going to crash during my checkout? How reliable is this site? Or even how reliable are its products? A fast loading site really reassures them that everything is working as it should and that that brand has really optimized not just their site, but all of their products. It gives a good impression to the shopper. High converting sites are faster because speed doesn't just improve the shopper experience, it's really going to build trust. But speed doesn't just convert, it drives engagement. And so on mobile, shoppers who convert more, they tend to view more pages, typically about 2x the number of pages of folks that just simply browse on a site. On desktop, that number is actually closer to 2.5x. And that's because a fast site creates a really frictionless experience. It encourages shoppers to continue to explore and discover new products and add more cart items to their cart. Every second saved on load time isn't just about preventing bounces. It's really about enabling bigger baskets and faster purchasing. So let's also break down what we mean when I'm talking about buying, browsing, and bouncing. Even if a site is fast enough to initially retain a shopper, the journey's not going to end there. So as long as key pages like the product detail page and category page and checkout pages are optimized, a shopper will continue to shop and browse. But if they aren't optimized for speed, a shopper's patience is only going to stretch so far. And so, like I mentioned earlier, we see this a lot where a home page or a specific campaign landing page has been optimized. But when those pages specifically get the share of attention when it comes to your speed optimizations, the rest of those pages that are less traditional entry points or less traditional pages that people are going to view, those ones often get left behind. And then it causes them to slow down and shoppers get frustrated and decide to abandon the page. So a brand could really optimize their homepage, making it load in 2 seconds or less, which is really great. But they've forgotten to optimize all of their individual product detail pages. Those ones maybe are taking 5 seconds to load. And what's going to happen is that shoppers are going to bounce halfway through their journey because they've just gotten frustrated with waiting for images to load or for reviews to appear. So every single page matters. Shoppers aren't going to stick to the path that we've designed for them or that we want them to take always. They're going to take their own route. And so every page along that route really needs to load fast and to function seamlessly. You know, a fast homepage is not enough to drive conversions. It might retain your shopper initially, but if that site isn't keeping up with the shopper will not stick around to convert. So every second matters, every page matters. Imagine just shaving 1 second off of your page loads. That's going to result in up to 22% fewer bounces, 10% higher conversion rates, and potentially thousands of dollars in revenue during those peak traffic times. So that's huge. You can really see a direct correlation between page speed and bounce rates in the chart here to the right. The slower your site, the more shoppers you're going to potentially lose. So this isn't just a technical issue, it's a revenue issue. Fast sites drive better sales. Now, looking ahead, we're really beginning to see that shift in control. We're seeing that affiliate traffic, for example, bringing shoppers in from a bunch of different directions. So the opportunity there is to really ensure platform and performance consistency, regardless of where or how your shoppers find you. So from a predictions perspective, we're definitely going to see affiliate traffic grow. Shoppers are going to come from diverse sources, meaning you're going to have less control over their entry point. And so really ensuring performance consistency across every single one of your product pages and category pages and really all pages is going to be critical. We're also going to continue to see mobile first to dominate. So mobile first strategies aren't optional. Those are really essential to winning the shopper loyalty and shopper journeys. And then AI will continue to play a big role in personalizing shopping experiences, but also in automating performance optimizations. It's all about leveraging AI and automation to make performance optimizations run kind of in the background so you don't have to utilize your own team's resources to optimize your site. So what can you do to stay ahead? First off, start by tracking your real user interactions. Looking at RUM data is huge. There's a ton of tools out there that offer synthetic data, which is great. It's a good first pass, but it's really not going to give you a sense of what's happening at your site at any given moment. RUM data will give you an idea of where your shoppers are dropping off, what pages might be slower than others. And then once you have that data, really use that to prioritize optimizing every page. This helps you really ensure consistent speed across your entire site. Tools like Yottaa help you because we'll optimize your optimizations. We will preload shopping carts, which tend to be one of the heavier pages to load. We also sequence third-party apps to ensure that no apps delay the loading of individual pages, really ensuring speed during high traffic moments. It's kind of like a site performance assistant that works 24/7 on your site. So you can always ensure consistency across your entire site. And if you're interested in learning more, you can actually use the link on the screen here to dive into learning more about how Yottaa can really help your business thrive. And with that, I will thank you all for joining me today. Cyber 5 showed us really that speed isn't all about keeping up.
Sarah, thank you so much. That was an awesome presentation. I have a question from Katia Espinosa. I hope I said your name correctly. And I think you might have actually addressed this on the slide, talking about faster pages through the shopper journey. And I think actually Christina in the chat addressed this. But the question is there an optimal loading speed? And maybe you can address this for maybe anyone that missed that piece.
Yeah, absolutely. So we definitely want to prioritize fast pages. And so we always look at 5 seconds as being kind of the point where you really want to look at your site speed, because 4 is the optimal speed. So once you're hitting that 4.5, 5 seconds, that's where you really want to start going, okay, we have a problem here. 4 seconds or less is the optimal speed for every single page on your site.
Awesome. And another question from Maureen. What means of improvement is advised to e-commerce brands based on conversion rates?
I'm sorry, can you say the question one more time for me, please?
Yeah. The question is from Maureen. And if you want to also clarify in the chat as well, but the question was, what means of improvement is advised to e-commerce brands based on conversion rates from the website?
So to improve those conversion rates, you really want to kind of focus on twofold, right? Where Yottaa comes in, we help you monitor and then also optimize your performance. So where we come in from an optimization perspective is what we tend to see is that a lot of sites will have dozens, if not hundreds, of different third-party applications on their site, ranging from search and personalization to A/B testing to even your Google Analytics tag to track data. And what we see is typically those third parties really begin to weigh down your site loads. Sometimes they'll block certain other elements that are more critical from loading on your site. And so we optimize the order in which all of those third parties load on your site to ensure faster performance. We also have a number of monitoring capabilities as well to really flag when performance errors happen so that you can resolve them quickly. So say there's a third party that has some sort of error that's preventing the rest of the page from loading. We can detect that and alert you so that we can directly address that particular third party, either in preventing the third party from loading immediately or in preventing other issues that happen on those PDPs.
Awesome, Sarah. Well, thank you so much. We hit time. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to drop emails in the chat so that Sarah can reach out to you, and we'll take it from there. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, all. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.